The bank set aside 250 billion to lend to women. I grew up in a middle-class home. Mm-hmm. My father was a banker, and by the way, worked for KCB 52 years ago.
I heard people say, okay, well, another woman, a product, why not build something for men? But I'm like, I don't think you really understand the kind of systemic barriers that we've been facing for years.
I think of myself as a brand custodian.
Is there a difference in how you lead men and women? Sometimes I feel like Africa is always building. We're constantly innovating, growing, and making magic happen, even in very hard circumstances. But we haven't always known how to tell our own stories. We build things that we don't yet have the language to describe. And I think part of what I am trying to do here with this podcast is to give our stories a voice, a lens, a place. And this is Herway. I am your host, Terry Mwikamba Gitonga, and today we sit down with Rosalind Gichuru. Now, she's a woman who has spent over the last 2 decades shaping how global and African brands speak, and more importantly, how they're felt. She's the Group Director of Marketing and Communications at KCB Group. And whether it's at Coca-Cola Company, Gillette Company, which is now known as Procter & Gamble, NIC Bank, which is now known as NCBA, or right now at KCB, her fingerprint has been on some of the most visible brands globally. But the real story here is the fact that she believes marketing can do more than just market. It can inspire, it can include, humanize, and even shift cultural norms. Marketing can be a tool for dignity. So, what's the story behind the storyteller? Let's find out. So, Rosalind, welcome to Herway Podcast.
Thank you, Terry, for having me.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to be here.
I am so glad. This has been a year in the making.
It really has. The last time we met, we
Yes.
were having a workshop
Yes.
with the members of, the creative economy.
Yes.
You were heavy with child. So
I was.
congratulations.
Thank you.
On the birth of your bouncing baby boy.
Yes, he's now 1.
Now walking. Yeah.
A bit.
Just a bit.
Yeah, falling.
Yeah.
I'm taking him to the hospital like all the time. Like, he just fell, please. Is there anything wrong with him? Yeah.
So I know that this plan
Yes.
to host us
Yes.
through your podcast has
Yeah.
been in the making for a while.
Yes.
But there's no better time than now. So I'm really
Absolutely.
happy to be here, and thank you for having me.
It's so great to have you. So I'm just going to get straight into it. So you've built big brands, global brands, but I'm just curious, Rosalind, if there is a slogan today that captures where you are in your life, what would it be?
Wow. Yeah. I think the first thing I'll tell you is that when you say I've built brands, I think for me, it has been my greatest honor and privilege to serve in the building of great brands. Mm-hmm. Brands are a representation of an organization that has stood the test of time. Mm-hmm. Organizations that are resilient and impacted lives from, all sorts of lives. And so when I reflect on my brand journey today at this age, where I'm thinking more and more about legacy, about responsibility, about the next generation of either users of the brand or even the teams that I'm working with, I think for me, the best, articulation of my journey is it's about impact and it's about legacy, and it's about the responsibility I have to be part of leaving the fundamentals in place for that point at which I will pass the baton to others.
Mm-hmm. That's powerful. Yeah. That's very powerful. And so I'm just also curious to know, when did you first know that you wanted to use storytelling for impact?
So I grew up in a home, middle-class home. Mm-hmm. My father was a banker.
Wow.
And by the way, worked for KCB.
Really?
52 years ago. And I believe that my father shaped my work ethic And it is where I saw corporate leadership lived out. It is where I understood discipline, hard work, and just keeping on the grind. And hard work, because banking was and is not easy. So I saw the grind at work. So my father began to shape my career thoughts. So much so that when I was a young girl and asked, what do you want to be? I wanted to be just like my dad, a banker.
Wow.
Fast forward to uni. I was very clear that I wanted to do a Bachelor of Commerce because I knew going down the finance route is the direction of travel. I wanted to be a banker. And I also knew that I wanted to do an MBA. And when I, started this BCom, I thought that I wanted to do finance. So when I sort of got through my mandatory courses and I had more room to do my electives, my first choice electives were, believe it or not, like political science, labor relations.
Big words.
Yeah. And I think I'll never forget the labor relations because I wanted to, there's something in me that sparked a desire to see justice for all kinds of workers. And just that sense of justice began to be elicited in me. Anyway, I think when I told my dad, this labor relations as part of my, BCom is something that is, sparking an interest. And I can't remember how he responded. But anyway, as I got along my degree, I started getting interested in marketing type of electives. So I think the first one I did was on direct marketing. I was like, Then advertising management. I'm like, brand management. And I slowly began to feel at home. I think my creativity, my love for people, my love for solving, challenges, my interest in data, but not just being in the finance space, but just what's behind the data and what's the insight and how does it affect consumers? So all these things began to play out. And I finally completed my BCom. And I knew full well that after I get a bit of work experience, I was going back to do my MBA, focusing exclusively on marketing. So it was a shift. And I think for me, the different kinds of expressions of marketing kind of, it began to make sense with my personality. So I think initially I started going down a path and I'm like, this is not quite me. I'm curious about people. I love people. I love numbers, but not every day. Not
every day, yeah.
And then this very creative side of me. So I felt that this was a better fit for the person that I am, the things that I love, and the things that sustain my attention. So that's where it all started.
Yeah.
And when I completed my MBA, I was very clear again about the kinds of organizations I wanted to work for. I found out that a lot of these big, fast-moving consumer goods companies have a program for marketers, almost like what would be likened today to an MT program, management trainee. So there were such programs, but for marketers. So I applied to exactly 6 organizations, the Gillette company being one, the Coca-Cola company being another, Procter & Gamble being another. And the Gillette company program came through. And that is how I began my brand career in the US. At the time, we were headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts. And my first brand assignment was assistant brand manager, Duracell brands. That was the batteries.
Yes.
So that's where it all began.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why come back?
I was also one of those children that were clear that I wanted to spend time abroad, take everything that I could from the exposure and the experiences. But home is always where I knew I wanted to make a difference. And even when I did make the decision to come back, it wasn't very exclusive to Kenya. I felt I'd been away for so long that how do I apply my learnings in any African market? So that's a story, that's a separate story. But my first Africa experience was in South Africa, where I worked for Coca-Cola Beverages Africa. Then it was Coca-Cola Sabco, the bottling arm of the Coca-Cola company.
Yeah.
And yes, through that, I worked for a number of, or worked in and for a number of African markets, and slowly made my way to Kenya. And here I am. Yeah.
Well, when you speak about brands like the Coca-Cola Company, NIC Bank, now NCBA, and also Gillette, storytelling, I believe, is very different from currently what you're doing. How was that shift from, the Gillette to now banking?
Yeah. I think the best way that I could explain what marketing is, I think it's a culmination of multiple disciplines. So there is a place for storytelling. There's a place for understanding the data and the insights behind the data. There is the place of, above the line marketing, below the line marketing. So I think for me, when I think of my career, I think of myself as a brand custodian. I have rolled up my sleeves and worked in virtually every discipline within marketing. I mean, there are people who grow their careers and establish themselves as people who are exceptional at events. But does that make it marketing? It's a part of marketing. So I think what my different experiences have provided me in my career is the opportunity to touch on virtually any aspect of marketing without necessarily focusing and becoming a specialist in just one thing. Again, my personality, what sustains my interests and keeps me excited about what's next, for me touches on a whole host of things. So I would say that's how I look at marketing, and that's how I look at the different experiences I've had, serving and growing a lot of the different brands that I've had the opportunity to lead.
Yeah. I like that you keep saying serving, and we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. But you've said that at KCB, you're the brand custodian. And I think when you're building a brand like KCB, banking, really, trust is one of the big ones. So how do you get people to trust KCB? Why should the region trust KCB?
KCB has been around for 129 years this year. So the way I reflect on my role is stewardship. And I stand on the shoulders of giants that have come before me. I remember my own father working for KCB. So that sense of responsibility, that the baton is in your hands today. You have the responsibility to lay the right foundation such that when you pass on the baton, will my sons say of their mother that 52 years ago, she worked for KCB? So that understanding that at a leadership level, or where I am in my career, I am standing on the giants of others. And I am the one today tasked, mandated to ensure that I lay the right foundations for those who are to come after me. So it's a very different mindset. And I think anyone new to KCB, or even members of my team, I say that there is no greater privilege than to be part of the team that is building for the next 100 years. So it's not just a job, it's a sense of responsibility. And then when I think of KCB, 129 years. Let's just reflect. There were world wars.
Yes.
There were pandemics.
Colonization.
And not just COVID.
Yes.
There were many things
happening.
So
yes.
today, some of the challenges that we see, whether it's the geopolitical or even some of, the things that we are seeing in the nations that we operate in, it's been seen before, but yet still, the company stands. So that sense of responsibility, I think for me is my biggest why. That is the purpose that wakes me up every day. That is the purpose that aligns with my own personal purpose, which is being clear about your why and the impact that you want to leave. So at the heart of it, KCB is a very purposeful brand. And that's the agenda that we are on, to shape the understanding and the experiences that our stakeholders, customers included, have with KCB. We're clear about our why, and our why is about people and making things better for people.
Yeah.
So is it the products that we offer? How do they make life better for you? How do they progress your business? How do they help in your own, plans about your own, growth? We're talking about that human consequence that exists behind just a standard loan. There is a motivation, and it has people at its core.
Yeah.
So KCB, our brand story has people at the center. And that is why today our brand purpose is for people, for better. It's all about people.
Yeah. So you say, it's for people, for better. But I'm also wondering, what does it take to make such a brand feel human?
Yeah.
How does that look like?
About 4 years ago, we embarked on a brand-led culture customer transformation program. And it took us reflecting on the journey that we've come through, the last decade to be precise. And we were able to sort of reflect on what had worked exceptionally well. What are some things that we could do better going forward? We reflected on the future that we envision for this great brand and this great business. And it started us on the brand-led culture customer transformation program. A starting point was to spend some time in discovery. What does this brand stand for? So we interviewed at the highest level of the organization, across all leadership levels, and right through to staff, not just in Kenya, but across the region. We also spoke to industry shapers and asked them, what do you think about us? And it informed how we needed to reposition our brand to future-proof it for the next decade. And we understood what's working for us that we could never lose. We understood some of the things that we needed to stop doing. We also understood some of the things we needed to start doing, in recognition of the fact that over the last decade, the consumer has moved. Absolutely. They have shifted. Yeah. Their mindsets have shifted.
Yeah.
Their expectations of us have shifted. Their needs from us have shifted. We looked at the competition. Banks were not our only competitor. We had the telcos coming through. And today we talk about share of wallet. So virtually anything that a consumer is doing with their money is your competitor.
Yeah.
We looked at the context that we are operating in. And all of that helped inform the need to develop a new purpose for us. And that is what birthed For People for Better. It also birthed new values. And our values are 3: courage, closer, and connected. Why courage? Because being such an old organization, we defined it as, for example, the courage to challenge the status quo. So it recognizes that we have come from where we have come, but do we have the courage to question the things that we're doing in order to position the brand for the future. And then closer in recognition of the fact that we had grown so big, we are so big, but how still do we remain connected to each other across departments, with our customers, across markets, and connected? Again, spoke to the need to truly operate and leverage the strength of one KCB, not a Kenya-centric KCB, but one that is present in 7 markets, touching the lives of millions of consumers. And we often like to say from the Indian Ocean to the Atlantic. I mean, that's big. And that is the scope of influence that KCB has. So how do we use this to build on what has been done, but with a freshness, and to capture the emerging opportunities, but still recognizing that consumers have changed, they've shifted, I mentioned that, but fundamentally at our core, human beings still want to be understood, to be heard, to be respected. So there are some things around storytelling that remain core to humanity. So how do we, just honor that? That people have changed, but at their core and as human beings, there's still some things that haven't changed.
And I like that you said, people have changed the way they consume, everything. And I think one of the biggest critiques when it comes to banking that we hear is that banks mostly sell instead of solving a solution, like coming up with a solution. And so it's about how you move from product to solution. And that's what I'm hearing from you, with the people at the central of that. And you talked about courage and questioning and breaking the status quo. And one of the ways that you've been able to do that, you have a proposition that is one of my favorite. I absolutely love talking about it. Flame. Please tell me what went through, what informed you to come up with Flame?
So the interesting story behind Flame is that working towards it actually began in 2016.
Wow.
There were those that went before us thinking about how do we bank women in business. There was actually some products that were put together, but yet still, it became very obvious to the team then that there were biases, that women, it wasn't a level playing ground for women. So yes, I have products to bank women and to support women entrepreneurs, but still, it's not an even playing ground. So a lot of work went into refining our internal, systems in order to support the women. So for example, an obvious one is collateral. A lot of collateral sits in the name of men, for example. So how else can women borrow? So cash flow lending, for example, and all of these things, and even the biases that women experience when they come into a banking hall, and some of the questions that you're asked. And so that revealed a lot to us. So first of all, a lot of women said, do not bank me or do not give me any banking products that are pink. And I think you remember there was a bank that did have a proposition that was pink. And I think women set the record straight for us. It's not about giving me feminine looking things. No. Treat me like a boss. And that's what they told us. That I am. Treat me like the boss that I am. And that set us off on revisiting the proposition. And that is really the beginning of Flame. So with some of us coming in, remember I said KCB is large and there's always a baton passing from one hand to the next. But we ride and we build on the foundations that have been set before us. So long story short, that then brought us, we started seeing, as we improved how we serve women, we started seeing growth and more women being able to bank more women, offer them lending to grow their enterprises. And fast forward to 2021, we realized this thing has no name. We have never packaged it. And that is then what birthed the Flame proposition, female-led and made enterprises.
Mm-hmm.
And when we thought about what's this value proposition, it was twofold. What are the banking or financial suite of products that women need?
Yeah.
But what are some of the non-financial interventions that we must offer as a bank to help women grow wholesomely? So networking, for example, and the platforms to network. That is a big issue for us women. We're juggling, and you are an entrepreneur.
Yes.
We are juggling so many things.
Yes.
Your son is one. So where are you networking? As freely as you would want. You have so many balls you're juggling.
Absolutely.
So many responsibilities that you have. I don't know whether you're able to give up 4 hours regularly to golf to have these kinds of conversations. So, and I'm not saying that women don't golf. They do.
Yeah.
We have an East Africa golf tour and women do play.
Yeah.
But I think for us, it's just how do we curate answers to the questions that women have in order to support them to grow their enterprises. So Flame is a customer value proposition where we have looked at you and provided financial solutions and non-financial solutions. And also the bank set aside 250 billion to lend to women. I think the latest published numbers, we're sitting close to 140 billion. And the non-performing, percent on the loans we've given out to women is one of the lowest across the group.
Yes.
So women, they do pay back their loans.
Yeah, that's what I'm learning.
Yeah.
That women are very good borrowers.
They're good borrowers.
Yes.
I mean, there are a lot of good men borrowers, but because we are talking about Flame,
Yes.
it's just to give credit where credit is due. They do need the money to grow their enterprises. They have ambition, and they're also very good at paying back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's looking at the same thing with freshness.
Yeah.
And speaking to, the evolving needs of these women. But we built off work that had begun before our time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why is it so important to include women in this conversation?
I think we need to think about an inclusive world, an inclusive customer base,
Yeah.
an inclusive organization, inclusive leadership. I just think that everyone brings different things to the table, and our strength or the power is in how we leverage everyone on the table.
Yeah.
That is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would also argue that we need the men as well. They bring a different perspective. So it's not all about the women.
Yeah.
It's about everyone and leveraging the strengths of all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I love about Flame is the fact that it was designed to break systemic biases that women, have to face. And sometimes I've heard people say, okay, well, another woman, a product, why not build something for men? But I'm like, I don't think you really understand the kind of systemic barriers that we've been facing for years. And sometimes just trying to explain that to someone, first, it makes me very upset that I even have to.
Yeah.
But the fact that, the bank, so that they went and they figured this out and they created something like the collateral free, apart from just the loan, you're also getting to learn, you're getting to financial literacy, It's such a beautiful proposition.
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys. It's such a beautiful thing that you have done with Flame.
Maybe one more thing I would share about Flame. When we were thinking about how do we create awareness behind Flame, we took initially a very traditional approach. Let's go above the line. Let's, look at traditional marketing channels.
Yes.
But yet still, when you ask women, do you know about KCB's Flame? They would be like, no. So we changed tact. We now do a lot of engagements. So we visit counties across the country, and we engage women at a very local level. And that has shifted the understanding of flame and helped women understand what we can actually do for you. Because again, women are community oriented. We must have a conversation, understand each other. I might say this and then you say that and then I say this. And before we know it, there are solutions to whatever our problems may have been. We love to talk, to engage. So we have flame engagements across the country, usually, dress up African. The forums are so much fun. They are so much fun. The women come all decked out. We dance, we sing, we speak, but we grow together. So even how we engage women, we took lessons and learnings along the way. And to take it even further, KCB has an East Africa golf tour where we have a golf tour across 5 markets. We also started leveraging the lady captain. And so what we do with a few clubs is we get the lady captain to convene her lady golfers. Some are customers, some are not. And we have the flame conversation. So for us, it's also how do we, look at the things that we already do and find spaces to continue to, to emphasize the importance of flame and what it can do for women across the board.
I like that. I am a fan of flames.
Excellent.
Let's talk about, because you speak so passionately about what KCB is doing. And I'm wondering, what's one shift you'd love to see in how African institutions speak to people, especially women?
I think it starts off with appreciating and recognizing the contribution of women. Taking time to understand where are they at, what's working for them, what's working against them. And then you as a brand, a business, an organization asking, how can I solve for the barriers that they are facing? Or how do I amplify what's working for them? As simple as that.
It's not about giving me a pink checkbook.
No.
No.
And do your bit.
Yes.
Because I think the collective effort that we all take, all businesses, all brands, all organizations, I think we shall move the dial forward. Just do your bit. We were talking about climate change. There are banks, not banks, but there are organizations, if I may say, that maybe all you can do is plant and grow trees. Imagine plant and grow trees, because I just mentioned that 90% of schools are still using firewood. So for every tree that's cut, just do your small thing. I think Wangari Maathai coined, is it your little small thing? I forget exactly what she said, but I think for me what comes to mind, just do your bit. Just do your part. Our collective efforts will count.
Wow. Just do your bit.
Do your bit.
And how do you know that a campaign has worked?
There are 2 ways that I measure campaign success. They're hard numbers. It is what it is. How many women have taken up flame? What is the volume of loans that they have taken? How many women did you engage through all these different platforms that, I spoke about? So it's about those hard metrics. And then there are the soft metrics. And this is where we speak about brand love. Now, what is love? Love is an emotion. Love is what I spontaneously just tell you, you're looking for a bank, go to KCB. Or if we're just hanging out and we're friends, women in business, I might just tell you I had the most amazing experience with KCB. That's love. And there are ways that we measure brand love, where it's a study. It's one of the most important studies that any brand custodian commissions to understand the perceptions behind their brand. And there are a lot of metrics within this brand love space that can help you understand the affinity that people have towards you. And you can juxtapose that in many cases against the hard numbers that the bank is reporting.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think in terms of measuring the outcomes of the things that we do, it's very important as a marketer to always have a very strong commercial lens. You have to be in there with business. What are you chasing? It could be new customers or deepen product penetration with the customers that you have. It could be your loan book, the deposits. So it's very important as a marketer to understand the drivers of the financials. But the benefit on this side, which we bring to the table, is then the brand love attributes. It could even be, what is the engagement on your social media channels? Now, the hardcore banker is probably not thinking about that, but we in marketing, we are deploying our communication and our campaigns on social media, for example.
Yes.
What is the level of engagement? And today, back in the day, we used to go for numbers, right?
Yeah.
How many followers do I have? Today, what is the level of engagement?
Yes.
And we've even taken it a step further to push people to give us your information. Do you want more information? So we also collect leads which come back into our space. We warm the lead and we say, Terry, we received this lead. I understand you're interested in flame. We'll warm you up and then pass you on to business who will come and close it.
Yes.
So that whole funnel on how you move from awareness to trial to usage to where now you are loyal. KCB Damu.
Yes.
Like, what? Flame.
Yeah.
You must. You evangelize on our behalf,
You get people to do now the work.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's any marketing custodian should think about the marketing funnel end to end, but you must be able to speak into what keeps a banker awake.
Yeah.
And the question you must ask is, what role as a custodian of this brand can I play in helping you solve your problems? And therein lies all the different touch points that marketers can use to drive the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it starts with the solution. What can I do to help you solve your problem?
Absolutely.
Rosalind, I want us to change the gears a bit.
Yes.
So 71% of KCB employees, the youth.
Yes.
And obviously, young people have a different way of doing things. And you've been at it for 21 years. How has your leadership style shifted, especially when now working with very young demographic?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I used to be one of the youngest. In every role I held, I'd be one of the youngest. And then I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not that anymore. I think for me, I always say that to be a good marketer, you must appreciate the different cogs that make everything work. You must understand that these cogs will require different kinds of people to deliver. So the role of digital marketing, for example, it was not in my MBA class, for example. It is, these are things that have evolved over time.
Yes.
But they were not part of the 4 Ps.
Yes.
Yeah, of back then. So what does that mean? Who are these people that need to be on this team to bring that subject matter expertise to the fore? So I think you've got to sort of understand that marketing is a coming together of different disciplines within, the sphere of marketing.
Yeah.
Who do you need? And a lot of these things have emerged over time. So there are young people on the team that probably didn't go to school for this thing, but they grew up with a phone in their hand in a way that we didn't. So I think it's firstly the appreciation that a lot of these emerging careers, the young people, it comes very naturally to them.
Yeah.
So for me, I always think about the diversity of the team. Who has the skill set? Who can do it with their eyes closed? Who knows how to do it? And then you layer in agency partners that bring that extra to the table, the disciplines, the expertise to be able to do now things at scale. So I think for me, I appreciate the next generation of custodians coming through the ranks. I greatly appreciate the fact that we are, we are a cog. Yeah?
Yeah.
And I also finally greatly appreciate that we all need to operate like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
So how does everybody come together? So how do you give people the space to do what it is they do best? And from where I sit as a leader, and one of the older ones, if not the oldest, on my team, how do we then provide the clarity of the brand, the vision of the brand, the strategic priorities of the brand, the commercial outcomes that we are in pursuit of? You almost provide the guardrails and then allow the specialists to do what they need to do to deliver around and within those guardrails. So it's, it takes two sides of the coin. But I appreciate the young people. I appreciate how vibrant they are, and
curious.
I tell my team all the time, please, I don't age me. I want to be forever young. So they greatly inspire me. And I learn a lot. And for me, when my nieces and nephews think like, I'm this hip auntie, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I really do honor the young men and women that I work with for that opportunity to appreciate that they are both sides of the coin. So how do we coexist to make this thing work? And I hope that there's a lot of inspiration behind our why and the impact we want to leave. And I believe that in everybody's heart, they're clear that we are for people for better. It's all about people, and we want to leave things better. So that shared purpose, I think, keeps us going. And we're able to work in harmony to deliver the outcomes that the business wants from us.
Is there anything that they have forced you to unlearn?
So many things. I think number one, you honestly don't have all the answers. So you've got to listen more. You have to also accept that at the rate of, the platforms, social media platforms, for example, their use, defining the audience and how they use and what they're doing there. I mean, I can only give you support and cheer you on, So, and that's just, these are small things, but TikTok and how we're going to market on TikTok. I don't know what brands and how they're marketing on Snapchat, but hey, I will be cheering on.
I'll be waiting for the numbers.
Mine is just remind us that when all is said and done, how do we balance creativity and delivery for the greater good of this great institution and this most amazing brand that we are charged to ensure is here for the next 100 years?
Wow. Okay. So I was also looking at your stats, and I realized that 45% of your workforce is also female. And I want to know, is there a difference in how you lead men and women?
I would hope not. I talk about an inclusive environment where everybody must find their place and space to thrive. I appreciate, the challenges and the things that everyone is juggling. The responsibility for children, yes, there's a burden of responsibility that falls on us as women.
Yes.
Myself as a mother. But I cannot make assumptions that men don't have that burden of responsibility. So how do we create a space where the men are thriving, the women are thriving, we are celebrating each other, we are appreciating of the fact that the challenges are different. So me personally, I hope, and it is my intention to make sure that everybody thrives. You have an event to go to for your child, I would not say yes and no to another. No, it's as important to the women on the team as it is to the men. So, but at the same time, when your nanny has not shown up and you're like, hey, I have to work from home because I'm back to the market looking for a new house manager.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think for me, as a leader, how do you just understand each person for where you're at, and how do I make things better for you in that moment? But how do we always remember that we signed yours faithfully and we have an obligation to the business? So as long as we're able to bring all of that together and be proud of the work that we're doing, I think for me, I think that's what, I would push for. Just having that mindfulness that the business needs us. And even as we're managing life and life's, challenges, we're able to bring the two together and thrive.
I like that.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend of mine, I think on Friday, and I was telling her that we're going to have this conversation. And she said she's in the creative arts, and one of the things she said is like, oh, but women in like top management are not fun.
Oh dear.
That's what she said. Like, it's almost like they have this wall. And you can't, like, getting through to them is really hard. And I really thought about it and I said, I must ask you, why is it that women, in top management are perceived the way they are? Like, it's almost hard to even say hello to this person. Why is it? Is it lonely at the top? Is it hard to keep your position? Why is it that sometimes women at the top appear almost unapproachable?
Firstly, it's tough. The journey is tough. You've got to work way harder sometimes than our male counterparts. The expectation of you, the demands on you, spoken or unspoken, are significant, and I refer to my own journey. It's tough, and there are a lot of battles in the journey, and there are a lot of scars that women have in that pursuit. And I don't know whether that changes us along the way. Yeah, it's tough, and I don't know whether that changes us along the way. And even when you do get there, staying there is also tough. So maybe do we lose ourselves or the sense of fun along the way? Possibly. And even as you journey, you probably then are balancing so many things. There is the corporate life, there is the demands, the pressure, the delivery, and then over here you're also wanting to ensure that you never compromise the time that you have perhaps with your family to build out your family life, be there for your children. So maybe you're even just tired. There's just not enough time maybe you just want to sleep.
Yeah. Just give me 2 hours.
Just rest, I
will be fun after, yes.
So do we lose our ability to have fun and let go. I guess compared to when you're younger, there is a difference. But the journey is tough and it is not easy. What I think is that when at the top, when you meet with women where you can make authentic connections with and even be vulnerable and speak candidly about some of the challenges and come in with a mindset to support one another, to make sense of, the terrain. Because sometimes it's just like, hold up. Is it me? But these are the,
Yes.
and just
Is it a me
have
problem?
a sister there saying, listen, this is what I did. This is how I navigated it. You can do it. Sometimes you may even question yourself. We go through a lot. But I think if you can identify some sisters that you can have real, authentic conversations and people who can remind you that you're good. You can do this. And then this too shall pass. That's very important. Do all women have that? Maybe not.
Do you have that?
Absolutely. And I have always purposed to ensure that there is a group of women that I can just be vulnerable in a safe space. People who will hold, conversations or thoughts or discussions in confidence with no judgment. And I also feel that my family life is very important to me. And finally, my faith. So that's where I draw my strength from. So I think it's also important as a woman in leadership to know what anchors you. Where do you draw your strength from? And if you cannot answer that question, it's a very important question to reflect on. And really try to understand, where do I get anchored? So I think for me, family and faith. And when I say family, I think family in all expressions. So even my girlfriends or, that is family. So family, so I'm all about people. So I value people greatly and I value relationships. So that's how I navigate that space.
And so you've led very big teams. You've built powerful campaigns. But is there an area in your life, whether personally or professionally, that you feel like, maybe I'm not enough in this aspect? I know.
I think, it's a very valid question. I think this thing called imposter syndrome, but it happens to everyone. I'm here to say that it happens. I mean, you're sent to meetings and you're giving, the speech on behalf of KCB. First of all, you're even like, wow, how did I even end up in this room? The people in the room, and there are countless meetings, forums, and rooms where you have to do a quick, I can do this. And I think one of the things that also helps for me is preparation. You've got to be prepared. So much so, there are spaces where when I know that I have to speak, I write my speech. Everything that comes out of my mouth, I write, I rehearse, I spend time internalizing. The more prepared you are, the easier it is to tackle the nerves. But the truth of the matter is, I don't think that ever goes. I think the speed at which you're able to speak to thyself and get it together is probably, what is faster. But I think that feeling of, oh my goodness, am I enough? It's one where I think you'll constantly feel it, but it's about your ability to speak back to yourself and say,
I am enough.
I am enough. So what are the tools that a woman can use? Preparation, a lot of rehearsing, speak into the mirror if you must, get a friend, Terry, and say, sit there, I'll be presenting this or I'll be speaking about this. and just role play. There are many things a woman can do to be prepared or to get more comfortable with the content. But you have to be able to speak to yourself and just remind yourself that you are enough. Yeah.
And I'm glad you spoke about imposter syndrome, because I think almost every woman I speak to, that's one thing they feel that they struggle with.
Yeah.
And I was telling your director of mortgages, Caroline Wanjeri, about it. And you know what's so crazy?
Yeah.
The very first day I described to my husband like what I was feeling and the imposter syndrome, he looked at me like I was just like, do you feel that? I'm like, yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's how I feel. And he's very anchored in faith. And I think one of the things that have really helped me, that voice that tells you you're not enough, then, I ask myself, but what does the Bible say about me?
Exactly.
What does the word say about me? Yeah. So is this a truth or is this a lie? You know? And so you just sort of work with that this is a lie. Yeah. And, you speak back to yourself and say, I am enough. Yeah. And just like you, I over-prepare.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I will come in the morning. I will do 50 takes. Yeah. I will really try to, at least what I can control, what is within my control, I'll try and work on that. Yeah. But also I've noticed not even speaking into it and not acknowledging it. So someone asks me, how do you deal with imposter syndrome? Sometimes I say, I don't have it. Even if I'm shaking and I am so afraid, just not speaking and acknowledging that it's there, I think it does help in some way. Yeah. Yeah. So,
and funny, sometimes there's no turning back. Huh?
Yeah.
I'm sitting on this podcast, even if I was having or feeling some kind of way.
Yes.
We are here. There is no turning back.
We have to finish.
We have to finish.
Yes.
And we must deliver with excellence. So sometimes some of us must be thrown into the deep end. Yeah. As in just you're thrown, you learn to swim and you become a better swimmer over time. So time is our best friend. Time heals everything, sorts everything out, but you've got to be committed to that journey of growth. Yeah.
Oh, I love that time. And do you ever feel like there's a need inside yourself that you've been neglecting?
I think being a mother of 3 most amazing young men, I think any woman who decides that they want to have a career or be an entrepreneur, I fundamentally believe that there is a cost. So I think for me, it's just the work-life balance or work-life integration, finding and refining ways of just bringing some balance to that equation so that as much as you are pursuing excellence at work or in your business, that same focus is key where, for me personally, where my kids are concerned and my family set up, because that's also very core and integral to who I am. Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I want you to take me back to 21-year-old Rosalind. Just sit with her, reflect back, like what would you like her to know?
It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You will be okay. Don't stop investing in the things that you need to at the right time. So if it's time to go do your master's, please do your master's. If it is time to make certain decisions, please make them. Build on, just do the right thing at the right time with the right people. Just lay the foundations. It will come together. And I remember in certain times of my career, I just thought, will I ever get there? Will I ever get there? But don't stop doing the right thing. Don't stop trying to be the best version of yourself. Continue to seek, for me in my faith, understanding who God has created me to be and understanding that He has a great plan for me and navigating the challenges and those valley moments, that is key. So keep at it. It will come together.
Yeah.
When God says He has a plan for you, and it is a good plan, it is not, those are not just empty words. And I still stand on that.
Yeah.
I still know He has a good plan for me. And I'm still on my journey to really, really understand the reason why He created me and everything that He would want me to accomplish in this life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And lastly,
Yes.
so what drives you? Your mission, not KCB's, yours. Why do you keep doing this job?
I think for me, it's about purpose and fulfillment of purpose.
Yeah.
And knowing that not only was I created for purpose, my mandate and my assignment is very purposeful, where there's clarity about the why and the impact that I want to leave in my sphere of influence. And being a leader, the voice that I carry in the rooms where we can actually influence decisions that impact people positively and for the long haul. So I think for me, it's about purpose.
Purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Before you leave,
Yes.
and again, I want to say congratulations for everything that you have achieved. I absolutely love sitting next to women who have achieved some of the things that we dream about. It makes it seem possible.
Yes.
So this has been such a privilege and an honor to have you. But before you go, there's something I want to do. I'm going to say a couple of words and you're going to say the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear that word.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Legacy.
Me.
Power.
Women.
Doubt.
No.
A woman who's held space for you when you needed it the most.
I'll do the same.
Failure.
Learning.
A part of yourself you're still learning to embrace.
Courage.
Flame.
Empowered.
Peace.
My core value.
And that's it.
Wow.